Good evening, YouTube investors. This is Steve from the Stock Market Shark YouTube channel. Guys, today I'm bringing you a super exciting question related to Palantir. Can Palantir stock make you a millionaire? So this is going to be the question that I'm attempting to answer in the next couple of minutes. I promise I will only take a few minutes of your time. I'm trying to keep this short and exciting as your time is precious to me. But guys, before we start, a huge thank you and a huge welcome to all of you who are watching my videos and are joining my channel. If you would like to be notified of my upcoming analysis, research, and updates on the stock market, then please make sure that you use this moment to smash the subscribe button just below this video. Turn on the notification bell in order to be notified whenever I'm coming with new content on the stock market. Thank you very much for helping me grow this wonderful traders community behind this channel. But now, no more unnecessary talk. Let's dive right into the details of this article I'm going to present you. However, let's take a very quick look at where we are today with Palantir. Today, Palantir is trading at $13.53. This represents an increase of almost 6.5% compared to the previous trading day's closing price. So the stock is definitely attempting a bounce back, but let's see if this is going to be long or short lasting. But now let's switch back to the original question of this video: if Palantir stock can make me and you a millionaire at some point in time. So this is the question of this article, and let's dive into the details together. Guys, as many of you know, Palantir is a high conviction stock in my portfolio, and even if you are currently swimming against the tide, I think that taking into account the fundamentals and the growth prospects of the company, I truly believe that Palantir can make me and you a millionaire at some point in time. But let's see if this article shares my view, if it agrees with this thesis. Let's dive into the details together. Guys, as many of you know, Palantir Technologies went public in September 2020 at a share price of $10, and here we are 16 months later, and the data analytics company is trading at $13 per share, which represents a gain of 30%. This is not a bad return at all for a period of 1.5 years. But as many of you also know, Palantir has been caught up in the meme stock trading frenzy last year, and it topped out at $45. Since then, the stock went down here and it gave back most of its gains to the market, but still the profits of 30% are not bad at all for such a period of time. But let's see if the stock can make me and you a millionaire, taking into account the current price level. And in order to answer this question, we have to take a closer look at one of the most important concerns related to Palantir, which is the fact that the company still heavily relies on the governmental contracts. Investors are longer waiting for a breakthrough in the commercial segment. Let's see where we are, and let's see if this breakthrough can happen in the foreseeable future. Let me highlight one thing, guys, from this article for easier readability. Let me highlight this one here. So for the first 3 quarters of fiscal year 2021, the governmental revenues represented a share of 60% from the company's total revenue. So this means that the commercial segment produced 40% of the total sales. So as we see, there's still a lot of room for the commercial segment to catch up with the government segment. So it's true that the main part of the company's revenue comes from the governmental contracts, but we already see some promising signs of dynamics in the commercial segment as well. And it's easily understandable why the government has signed up for Palantir's artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities, but it's also very easy to understand why today's commercial businesses have equal needs for such capabilities. And let me basically quote one thing from this article, guys, here, because I think that this is really reflective. It is estimated that around 45 zettabytes of data is produced today, with 2.5 quintillion bytes of data produced daily. And this number is expected to grow in the future. But the data itself, it's useless unless it's turned into useful information and useful insights. And this is where Palantir's platform, the Gotham, basically, that is aimed for the commercial segment, comes into play, which is capable to turn this data, this massive amount of data, into useful insights and useful information. So we clearly see what the use case is, but let's see if the numbers basically show the dynamics in the growth of the commercial segments. And I would like to quote a few stats from the latest quarterly report of Palantir, which is Q3 2021. So in Q3 2021, the total revenue grew at around 36%, and the commercial growth was accelerating 37% on a year-over-year basis, and the government growth was accelerating 34% on a year-over-year basis. The Palantir's customer count grew by 34 new net customers to a number of 203 customers in total. So as we see already currently, the commercial segment is growing at a higher rate than the governmental segment, but difference is not so significant. It's not so significant. So if these dynamic rates would persist in the future, it would take a lot of time to Palantir to basically shift the balance and to basically get out most of its revenue from the commercial sales. So this is basically the major concern. I think this is quite significant, but the use cases at least are very easily understandable. And we already see how heavily Palantir is basically integrated into numerous industries themselves. For instance, it's heavily embedded in the energy industry, in the transportation, financial services, and healthcare sectors. So we've seen a lot of use cases. But just to give you an example, and this is basically mentioned in this article as well. So for example, Palantir notes on Airbus A350 consists of 5 million parts assembled by hundreds of teams in 4 countries, and the need for coordinated data is immense. Yet the platform is also widely used for throughout aviation, as it has integrated data from more than 100 airlines and 9,000 aircrafts worldwide. So the use cases are very well defined. The need is palpable. So the only question is around execution. And around execution, I also have to mention a few stats related to competitors. As we know, Palantir has a lot of competitors, and let's see if these competitors grew in the commercial segments at a higher rate or not as Palantir, because these companies can easily eat up each other's lunch, each other's steak. And the truth is, guys, that still Palantir is a little bit below the competitors in this case. In terms of competitors, we can mention Snowflake, Amazon Web Services, Splunk, for instance. And while Palantir only has around 200 customers in the commercial segments, let me highlight this one as well from here. Snowflake has over 5,400 commercial customers and saw a revenue jump of 110% year over year. Splunk has 635 commercial customers and enjoyed a revenue jump of 75% year over year. So as we can see, the competitors are executing a little bit better and are growing at a higher rate in the commercial segment, but there's nothing to worry about, because Palantir can still catch up, and I think that the room in this segment is still huge for these companies operating there. So let's try to draw the conclusion here, and let's try to answer the question whether Palantir can make me and you a millionaire. The article says that yes, it depends on how much money you invest into it. So I quote, likely if you sink enough money into it, it will, but putting $1,000 into the stock and expecting it to turn into 1 million might be a difficult task to achieve, even if holding onto it for decades. So definitely Palantir would not be able to produce such gains that, for instance, can transform like a smaller amount of money into millions. But taking into account basically the use cases in the big data sector and artificial intelligence, and taking into account the current growth rate in the commercial segment of the company, even if it's behind the competitors, I truly believe that the company can offer an attractive risk-reward ratio in the future. And if the execution would be properly, would be satisfactory, I think that Palantir can produce some massive profit in the future. So this is where we are, guys. I think that the current stock price started to become more and more attractive. The price to sales ratio came down a little bit. It's still a little bit high in my opinion. It's around 16, but it's much more attractive than it was before. Historically, Palantir started to become cheap. So guys, start considering buying by an average dollar cost averaging strategy. Try to get exposure to Palantir, of course, with diversifying properly. So hope you enjoyed this video. I will be coming back with content like this one. So if you enjoyed this one, then please make sure that you smash the subscribe button and you will be notified of any of my future updates on the stock market. Thank you very much for watching this, and take care till we meet again in my next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.